is right now, are we heading towards a market crash, or is Donald Trump going to do everything in his power to make sure that doesn't happen?
Well, he's going to do everything he can to make sure that won't happen, but it's beyond his control. One of our trends that we're looking at this year is Dotcom bust 2.0. The Trends Journal magazine back in 1999 called the Dotcom bust. We said it would bust by the second quarter of 2000, and it did. Here's what's going on. In tracking trends, you make connections between different fields. We say opportunity misses those who view the world through the eyes of their profession. You have to look at the whole picture. You have to put the trend together, and we'll show you why there's going to be a dot-com bust. Let's go back to the year 2001. That's when China officially got into the World Trade Organization, brought to you by Bill Clinton. Go back to 2000. 10% of Chinese 18-year-olds went to college. Now, 25 years later, almost 70% are going to college. Now come back to the United States. The whole country is going down. We have 347 million people. They got 1.4 billion. Let's go to high tech. Young people are totally high tech, AI addicted. This is their world. Oh, and they're going to college. Now let's go to the dot-com bust 2.0. Trends are born, they grow, they mature, reach old age, and then they die. The AI trend was just born in 2022. It's 3 years old. You don't invest all your money in the first companies that invent the automobile in 1886. It escalates and changes. They invested very heavily in the leaders of the AI when the first trend began. Now let's fast forward. February, or actually January of this year, 2025. All of a sudden we hear about DeepSeek. Oh, what's a DeepSeek? Oh, a DeepSeek is an AI company over there in China? No, you don't need these big chips for their AI. No, you don't need all these power plants that they're investing in for the big chips. We're doing it with smaller chips, and it's not costing us $100 million to do it. It's costing us $6 million to do it. And now DeepSeek is the most used AI platform in the world. So all this money that went into the NVIDIAs and all the others, the IPOs, the IPO wannabes, overinvested. There's going to be a dot-com bust in the United States. And that's going to crash the equity markets like it did back in 2000. You saw the NASDAQ ending up losing 80% of its value. So that's where we see it going. Is Trump going to try to change it? Yeah. He's going to do everything he can to lower interest rates. And that's not coming out of my mouth. It's coming out of his mouth. And yeah, again, you have to look at the facts. Let's go back when he was president in 2018. December. The worst Dow December in 2018 in America since the Great Depression, 1931. What did Trump do? He forced Powell to lower interest rates. And what did Powell do? January 2019, boop, down go the interest rates, up go the equity markets. So that's the game as we see it, as it's going to be played.
Okay, very interesting. So the trigger of this crisis, like a 2008 type crisis, is going to be too much investment in these AI companies, and they're too early on in the adoption phase, I suppose, and maybe they've overinvested. The cream does always rise to the top after a crash like that, though, like we saw back in 2000 and with the tech crash. But so you're looking right now at a crash just due to overinvestment in AI and that early adoption phase of this potential boom.
Yes, because we're saying the Chinese are going to take over the AI world. They're going to be leading, and AI is the future. Love it, hate it, whatever it is. You know, one of my sayings is that they say in the King James Bible that the meek shall inherit the earth. They misspelt it. The geeks have inherited the earth. It's the geek world. Everything is artificial. Artificial music, artificial AI. And so, but the Chinese, I mean, these are very intelligent young people, and they're addicted to this stuff. You got more of them than anybody else in the world. in any other country. So they're going to be leading the AI charge, and they're going to be pushing these companies down that they overinvested in. The Magnificent Seven's not so magnificent anymore.
In fact, that is one of the questions that our members have asked. Do you still see the Magnificent Seven as being magnificent? I mean, they've been holding up the market, and we've seen some incredible returns with some of these companies over the last 5 years or so. But your opinion with the Magnificent Seven now, would you say steer clear of those, and they're more hype now? What would you say about those?
It's more hype. And again, yes, some of them will stay high, but others are going to go down. And you got to watch what the Chinese are doing. And again, one of the important things as a trend forecaster, I write this in my book, Trend Tracking, Far Better Than Megatrends, Time Magazine, back in the late 80s, how they teach you to hate countries. And the Iranian conflict was going on back in the late 70s. That's when I became a political atheist. They taught us to hate Iran. They were having a revolution. They wanted to overthrow the Shah. Oh, the Shah, a dictator that the United States and the UK brought in, overthrew the government of Mossadegh in 1953, the Iranian government. The United States, the CIA, and the MI6, and the only newspaper, by the way, to report this when they finally released the information in 2017, none of the American news reported it. The Financial Times did back then. Winston Churchill and Kermit Roosevelt, who was Theodore Roosevelt's grandson, a great-grandson, he was with the CIA and the UK MI6, overthrew the democratically elected government of Mossadegh, because Mossadegh, the Iranian president who was elected, had the nerve to say, no, that oil in Iran doesn't belong to Anglo-Iranian Oil, better known today as BP, or Standard Oil, better known today as ExxonMobil. It belongs to the Iranian people. No, it doesn't. It belongs to the oil gang. Like I say, you think we would have invaded Iraq if their major export was broccoli? So people had no idea of this, and that's when I became a political atheist. So what I'm saying is, people have a negative view of different things, and that's not the way you look at things. You look at things to the way they are, not the way you want them to be. And China, as we see it, is going to be leading the world in the AI future and the high-tech future.